when a woman per se puts false expectation on the man. I think what has happened in Christianity is that I think a lot of women are looking to marry Jesus, right? And so what happens, they have the false perception. It's true. It's true. It's real. And that's why a lot of people don't talk about it because, you know, if you tackle a woman topic like that, they'll look at you crazy. But I have nothing to lose, though. You know what I'm saying? So, but the thing about that is I think a lot of women, and, well, not men, but a lot of women are looking to marry a person that's so Christ-like that they can't help but show any flaws. But when you, no matter what man you're with, that man's going to have some flaws to him. That man's going to have human-like tendencies. And for me, as a preacher, it happens in ministry as well. That's why I'm quick to show people my flaws quick, because I'm like, look, I'm human like you. But that still doesn't communicate well because they're looking at me like, well, you're the representation of him. But at the same time, I'm just the vessel used by him. And when you put godly expectations on a man, then all of a sudden, if he's a non-godly man, you're going to try to be Jesus for him. You're going to be like, well, I'm going to be with this man to kind of build him up to Jesus-like status when nobody can. And so the thing about it, before that man walks with you, he got to first walk with Jesus. He got to learn how to walk and become a man and be stable like him before he can lead you. If that man is walking after his own ungodliness, he's going to dilute your godliness. He's going to dilute your standards. And that's why a lot of women are good women and they get so caught up on, well, it's scarce out here. Well, at least I have somebody. But do you know how big the world is? Do you know how big the world is? So when your frame of mind is small, when a woman's frame of mind is small, she'll settle for any man that's within her frame. And if there's a man accessible, arm's reach, then she's going to be like, I'm just going to bring this man into my life. I'm going to take him as he is. You do not marry potential. You marry who he is in the present. And so a lot of women are like, well, I'll wait along the journey to see if he'll get to that potential. And if that man is not being renewed and saved by Jesus, he'll never reach that level. And I tell ladies like now, I'd rather for y'all to wait for that man comes than to you try to build a boo, try to build a Boaz, try to build a man, and you're building them, and come to find out, that teddy bear comes out ugly still. You see what I'm saying? That man is still flawed. Oh, you had a question? Oh, I ain't want to go there, but she did. Thank you. And that's what's so beautiful about the season that you're in. Like, season of waiting is season of development. And the Bible says, don't think of yourself too highly than you ought to think. And so many people, men and women, feel like, well, I've already made it, therefore I don't need to work on myself anymore. But God's like, if you're expecting, I always say this, and I'm going to knock this point down every time I speak about it, is that you cannot expect God to give you a man of God if you're not a woman of God. You can't expect God to give you a man that prays and you don't pray. You can't expect God to bring you something that you're not. That's why God's saying, have you heard your prayer request lately? Are you being what you're praying for? Because he's saying, if you're not being what you're praying for, don't expect me to bring the prayer request to your life. And that's why people get so caught up on, why am I single? Don't get mad at God. Look in the mirror, look at yourself and be like, I'm the problem. 40 years for an 11-day trip. Crazy. But how many of us are in month 40 when it was supposed to have been 4 weeks? And many people are getting mad at God. And God's saying, man, look, I told you to follow me. But we're going around the same problems. Get that pornography out your life. Get that gossip out your life. Get that junk out your life. It's pointless to spend time with God for 4 or 5 days and then jump back and sin again. That's like a person that works out for 4 or 5 days and don't work out for 4 or 5 days. After that, consistency. And when God sees that you're consistent, he'll build that boo for you. You don't got to build it yourself. And he'll deliver it to you, too. Free shipping and handling.